Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Herbie's Community Cooking Corner for January 9th, 2024. Wow,
It
the first time I've
says
actually.
we are on. It's just my microphone. I don't know.
If somebody wants to check their Lady A device and make sure we are streaming, but if you heard the. If you go to your output and audio hijack and turn it off and I go away, then A, don't celebrate, and B, that'll also tell you that it's working. So, all right, it's Herbie's Community Cooking and Tech Support call on this fine Tuesday. But that's how these things go. When you wear multiple hats, then you are expected to do multiple things. So, with that, first of all, I will tell you that I'm feeling utterly miserable right now, but that's okay. Actually, it's not, but it's. So I'm using a different type of headset to set up today, so I don't know how well the kitchen sounds will come through. That'll either make you happy or unhappy. Um, but let's just say I don't know that I feel good wearing the regular earbuds that I would normally wear. So, um, this is the first cooking call of the new year. Can you believe that? Wow, 2024. Last year, at this time, it was myself and Twinkling Tori doing this call. Now it's down to just moi, but all right. That'll have to do. Let's get on with the call itself. I'm going to be making a meatloaf today. This is going to be a different meatloaf than the one I've normally made, and you can refer to my previous meatloaf call, which is on my YouTube channel for sure. It may be in podcast form somewhere as well. I'm not sure because this goes back a while, but you can refer to my meatloaf call for a completely different meatloaf recipe. This one, so it claims to be the Boston Market meatloaf. I don't know if it is or not, but we're going to try this anyway and see how well this works out for us. So let us start by taking a look at our ingredients list. And we are going to need one. It's calling for a ground sirloin. I'm just going to be using regular ground beef. And I got the leanest that I could find. And we'll just, it's going to get drained anyway, so it should be fine for our purpose. We need 1 cup tomato sauce. We need some barbecue sauce. Interesting combination there. And sugar to start off with, and then we're going to mix all that in a saucepan. Then in a separate bowl, we're going to deal with ground beef, flour, salt, onion powder, and let's see, garlic powder as well, and pepper. So it's actually a pretty, it's a kind of simple and not simple recipe, as we've got a couple of interesting steps here. So the first thing we're going to need is our tomato sauce, and this should be it. And let's see if I can find out real quick if it is my tomato sauce or not, because this can has a pull tab where my other cans currently do not. And but I'm just going to use Seeing AI to try to verify that this is tomato sauce before I actually open the can. Okay. Yep, it is indeed tomato sauce. Okay. So for Seeing AI, I didn't do anything fancy. I just used the short text option just to have it kind of generally read to me what I was seeing. I didn't need specific. I just needed to read enough to know that it was tomato sauce. So with that, we're going to get out our measuring cup. I am now back, by the way, in the friendly confines of my kitchen. I am so happy about that. And the only disadvantage is it means I have to be the one to clean up the mess afterwards. But So I'm just going to do this over the saucepan in question that we're going to be using. So I have my cup in the center of the saucepan, and this tomato sauce has a pull tab. And the good news is any extra is just going to go right into the saucepan, and it doesn't matter if there is any extra or not, because we'll just have extra sauce. And it's going to be mixed in with other things. So I'm going to pour the tomato sauce into the cup. And by the way, 8 ounces is a cup. The smallest can of tomato sauce I could find was 16 ounces. Really, you're not supposed to use the entire cup of tomato sauce. You're supposed to leave a little bit for the mixture, but that's okay because we still got the can for that. So there is my 1 cup of tomato sauce. And we're going to. By the way, I forgot to acknowledge the lovely ladies we have helping us out here today. I am so sorry. First of all, major flirt, even though I'm married, and but she likes me anyway. Over on Zoom, we have Cindy Laban, and over on the Clubhouse side, we have Tyann helping us out today with Clubhouse and streaming. So thank you to both of you ladies. And I guess if you put them both together, we get a CT scan. So that's what the cat drug out there. Okay. Now, yeah. Tyann's still sorting out how she feels about me, but
I think everything is working properly now.
yay. All right. So I'm glad to hear that. That everything is working properly. By the term now, does that mean that it was not when we started the stream, or?
I had to change my audio output in hi hijack.
Okay, so that's why you couldn't hear me. Okay, so, so you didn't hear me then when I was saying, yeah, if you want to know if everything's working or not, if you meet your audio output in hijack, then that's an indication that things are working. Okay, so that's good, good, good. Well, all right. So, and I guess you missed all the little things I said about you earlier, there, Tyann. So
Oh
that's
no.
unfortunate. Yeah. Oh, I really shouldn't repeat them, but no. Actually, we didn't. So, anyway, back to the call. So now let's see. How much barbecue sauce does this thing call for? Let's go back up here and look. So I've never actually dealt with barbecue sauce on the cooking call before, which is really interesting. So why is that significant? Because I've never had a chance to talk about the bottle. 1.5 tablespoons barbecue sauce. We'll just do 2 tablespoons. But barbecue sauce comes in a very interesting bottle. It's kind of like a ranch bottle, but even a narrower neck. And of course, the brand is going to be affected by what the bottle looks like because there are, like, Sweet Baby Ray's, for instance, can sometimes look exactly like ranch dressing. And have I ever mixed up the two? Yes. Because I opened a bottle thinking it was ranch and it turned out to be barbecue sauce. And it makes things very interesting as they are very two different things. This one is designed completely different. I forget which brand it is, but we're going to now squeeze out what we've got here into the tablespoon. There's I've used this for other things, so we're at the bottom of the bottle here, but that's fine. Okay, just squeezing it into the. I have a 2 tablespoon measuring, so I'm going to use that. Um, so the recipe did not specify which type of barbecue sauce to use, so you can use any one that you want. As far as I know, anyway, I don't know if it matters. You know, maybe some are going to, of course, be spicier than others. The brand I'm most familiar with is Sweet Baby Ray's, and I think Kraft is the other one. And just getting some excess sauce out of the spoon here. Okay. And now we're going to wash up again. Okay, now that that is done, let's see. So this is, like I said, the first time I've actually done this recipe, so I am having to refer back to it constantly. And so I need to see how much sugar I need. And no, we don't need honey. 1 tablespoon sugar. Okay. So let us first of all get out my sugar. Again, I have these in marked containers for storage purposes. However, if you're unsure about your sugar and flour, you can kind of tell just by feeling through the bag the texture of the thing. So sugar has a more refined texture, whereas flour is going to feel more stiff. So if you're unsure, that's how you can quickly tell just by feel which one is which. Both flour and sugar do come in the same type of bag. Now, brown sugar, which we're not using today, but that comes in the plastic type bag, whereas regular sugar comes in the paper bag by default. Of course, things can change from country to country and all that, so this is how things are in the US, because I know we have people listening from all over the globe here, and both on Zoom. For sure on Zoom. I don't know about those of you listening on Media 5. By the way, those of you on Media 5, it's always good to know if you guys are out there listening. So, love to know if you're out there. So, if you do not have my contact info, you can always reach out to community@acb.org and all that. And it'll get sent to me, just to say hi, what you're listening, if there's anything, feedback you'd like to give, because you are all important no matter how you listen to this call. So we are we're about at a point where we're ready for questions on what we've done so far. Unless you have to leave pretty soon, please refrain from like alternate recipes or anything like that. This is just on I'm going to focus right now on what we've been doing, and we'll have plenty of time to talk about, I'm sure, other stuff later on. So just keep that in mind with the questions, if at all possible. So we're going to simmer these 3 ingredients in our saucepan and start to get the meat ready. So while we're doing that, do we have any raised hands?
Yes, you do. Petra.
Petra, all right.
Good morning, everyone. Herbie, I have a couple questions. One is, how much ground beef are you using?
So I'm gonna use 2 pounds.
2 pounds.
It calls officially for 1.5 pounds, but I'm just gonna use 2 pounds because who's going to measure out the half pound?
Okay,
I'm not.
I would rather do that too. And how much garlic?
I'd have to go
We
look.
haven't gotten there yet, so I can wait for that answer if you'd like.
Yep. We've not gotten there. Okay, I'm using the wrong burner for this pan. First of all, that's not good. Okay, so what we're doing with our saucepan is we're gonna set it over medium heat and wait for this to start to boil. So, of course, with the garlic, you can use as much as you want, because of course some of these things all depend on taste as well. So that's important to keep in mind. That's one of the nice things about cooking is you don't always have to be precise as you do with the actual recipes. But let's see, when it comes to garlic, let's see, what do we need here? I need my phone to cooperate, first of all. Really. Okay, it only calls for an 8 teaspoon garlic powder, so that is a little low for me personally, but I think I'll use a little bit more. So, hope that answers your question there, Petra. 1/8 teaspoon is what it calls for. All right, who is next?
You'll never guess. Yeah, now.
Oh, okay. I would have actually guessed Ibrahim, but he's probably up there.
I was just going to say you sound good on ACB Media because I was checking, and don't go too heavy on the garlic. But I don't know if it helps you feel better, then why not? But yeah,
I don't
otherwise,
know if it'll help me feel better, but we're not going to go too heavy on the garlic. Don't worry. All right. Very good, Chanel. And who is next?
Next, you have, let's see. Oh, Chanel or Ann does not have anyone at Clubhouse yet. Right now, nobody. You're rolling good.
All right. Wow. My usual suspects are either not here or don't have anything to say. I'm not looking at the participants list, so very good. Okay, so we're waiting for the mixture to start to boil, a bubble, and it says to stir often. So a brand new toy that I got that I've not had a chance to play with yet has been a pot that lets you actually use it as a sieve. So it has the holes in the lid. I think it has more of a spout, this particular one does, that'll drain out the water. So I'm really excited to play with that, and I'm going to do mashed potatoes today with the meatloaf, and that's where we'll go a little bit heavier with the
Hmm.
garlic, is the garlic
Hmm.
mashed. Well, Cindy, you can go turn over the hosting to somebody else and get an airplane down here, and I'll save you some.
You have a hand up.
I have a hand up. Okay.
Okay, Janty.
Good morning, all you wonderful cooks. Just a little teeny hint. If you have containers that are a little too similar, once you take a sniff, then you can put a sticker on there, identify it however you want to identify it. But sometimes the nose knows.
Yes. I rely on that a lot more than I do technology with the kitchen, honestly.
Yeah. And this meatloaf sounds fantastic. It's great. It sounds like something you can kind of tweak for your own taste. Like for me, I love barbecue sauce, so I would use probably a little more barbecue sauce and a little less tomato, and maybe no garlic and lots of onion.
All right. Well, very good.
Sounds good. Thank you.
You're welcome. So right now we are just kind of stirring this. Really like to hear it bubbling, but it kind of isn't just yet. Okay, I kind of have it on medium low. Let's set it to medium. And okay. I'm wondering, do I have any more barbecue sauce in that bottle I could actually add to it? Because I sympathize with you about wanting to add in more barbecue sauce and less tomato.
Right, you have a hand in Clubhouse.
I have a hand in Clubhouse. All right.
It is Triple G.
Triple G, my man.
Hello, Herbie.
Hello.
Wow, I'm coming through double. I don't know, at least here on Clubhouse. But anyway, so I'll make this short because I don't want to hear myself double. But garlic is a no for me. Also, is there a way that you can make this gluten-free?
So the only thing that I'm aware of that would have gluten is the barbecue sauce and the flour.
Okay.
And of course, the garlic is optional. I mean, it's not gonna. This isn't. This is what I like about actual cooking compared to recipes. It's not gonna be the end of the world if you don't add in something.
Right.
I mean, it's gonna depend on what it is. Obviously, you know, if you're making a meatloaf, you want to add in the meat, for instance. But or some alternative. But if you omit the garlic powder, nothing wrong with that.
Okay. Okay.
So
Cool.
it's not crucial that you do that. So that's the difference between cooking and baking. So the flour, of course, you would have to come up with. I know there are gluten-free flour options out there.
Okay.
This is where I miss Twinkling Tori as my co-host, honestly, because she was really good with these types of things and alternatives. But now you can probably. I don't know if you can hear if it's bubbling or not. So it's really, there's no easy way to kind of tell if this is done or not. So I'm just going to stir often and then we're going to remove from heat and kind of work on our meat mixture next.
Well,
And it's
Herbie,
actually from
Petra has her hand up, so she may have an alternative for you. She's got
All
something
right,
for you.
Petra. Yes, Petra, go ahead.
Sorry, no alternative. Afraid I can eat everything, but I was curious. Herbie, I missed. What have you mixed in your saucepan? Just the garlic, or excuse me, just the tomato sauce and barbecue sauce
And the sugar.
and the sugar. Okay.
Yep. Just
Thank
those
you
three
much.
things. Yep. All right, so all we've mixed in is the barbecue sauce, tomato sauce, and sugar. Now we're going to get onto our meat mixture. And so what we're going to do now is get our meat. So it calls for sirloin. The reason why, of course, it calls for sirloin is it really does not generate much in the way of grease. I could not find ground. Okay, so what we're gonna do is add the sauce to our meat, except for 2 tablespoons worth, and then we're going to add in all the other stuff to the meat. So for this, we are going to need a bowl, and that's what I was double checking the recipe as I go along here, guys. So I've got 2 mixing bowls. And Greg, by the way, I want to mention we were not hearing you double on the Zoom side, so Tyann, at some point you'll have to see what your input is set to on Clubhouse, because it could be set to one of the sessions that includes Club Deck, and you just want it to the session that includes Zoom. Again, I wear multiple hats here on this call. So, as a tech support, but I just wanted to show you that we were not suffering along with you, so I'm sorry you had to suffer by yourself there, Triple G. All right. Can you imagine having to hear 2 of Triple G, guys? All right, we love you. But too bad. But you should actually, you know what you really should do though, Triple G, is also come on Zoom and then talk, so that way, since you're Triple G, you can hear 3 of you. Okay. That was terrible. And I need to talk to my writers about the jokes that they make me for this call. Oh, wait a minute. I'm the only one. Oh, crap. All right. So, ground beef, I've just got the 2 1-pound things of ground beef. There are ways you can get like 3 or 4 pound packs. Sometimes those are fun, sometimes, depending on what you're wanting to do. So I'm going to, of course, you can use any kind of meat you want for this. If you want to use ground turkey, for instance, I don't see any reason why that would not work. So I'm just going to kind of break up this beef because it comes in a nice little solid block here. So that's 1 pound in the bowl. Officially, it calls for 1.5 pounds. We're going to do a full 2 pounds. I could guess as to what is 1.5 pounds roughly, but why waste needlessly? It's not going to hurt anything. Okay. So what we're going to do now is put all that in the garbage, and of course, after dealing with raw meat, we want to wash our hands.
Well, Herbie, while you're washing your hands, do you want to take a question?
I will take a question.
Okay, Terry, go ahead.
Okay, and it's not a question, but I just, in case Herbie, you didn't know or other people didn't know, I usually get it's frozen, but I get my ground beef at Costco, and they're in individual. They look like, like if you buy sausage that you have to slice in the
Yes,
tube.
the
Yeah,
rolls.
and
Yep.
it comes like exactly, and it comes like five of them in a five individual 1 pound packs in a frozen thing. So that's just a little bit of not trivia, but a little piece of
Yeah.
information.
Good to
And then
know.
if you
All
did need the
right.
half, then you could cut that other one in half.
Yep.
For those who have to be exact, but like you said, with meatloaf, you don't have to be exact.
Nope.
Right.
Okay,
Thanks.
so this calls for some of the sauce to be. Okay, measuring 2 tablespoons of the sauce to pour over the meat mixture is interesting, so I'm just kind of guessing is what's going to constitute 2 tablespoons and pouring that in a bowl that I'm going to set aside. And now we're going to pour the sauce mixture over the meat. So what I did is I used my 2 tablespoon, or you can use 1 tablespoon, and I set aside the mixture in a bowl, like some of the sauce in a bowl, so that way we can know what is 2 tablespoons of sauce to set aside. And I'm going to use a spoon to kind of scrape out any extra sauce. And then we're going to use our hands, actually. We get to use our hands for this recipe. Yay. And mix the sauce in with the meat. And then we're going to get to our dry ingredients.
Well,
And
while you're washing your hands, do you want another question or do you want to wait?
let us get to the last. Okay, this will be the last question for now. So,
Okay. All right. Melissa, go ahead.
Melissa, welcome.
All right. You are still muted, Melissa.
Make sure you've hit the OK button if you've not.
Yeah. Did you hit the OK? If you're on.
I feel like telling people to
Oh,
go to the OK Corral.
Yeah, you have to, if you're on your computer, hit the F6 a couple times. If the got it button is not there, and then tab to OK.
And by the way, I forgot to mention this, but preheat your oven to 400 degrees. So.
Well, we can wait because she's still muted.
There we
Yep.
go. I'm here.
There she is. Yay.
So what kind of soup is it? It's a really good soup, I can tell.
No, this is a meatloaf, not a soup.
Oh, meatloaf. Oh my gosh. What kind of meatloaf are you making?
Well, I'm getting through all that we just did. Right now, we've added the meat, barbecue sauce, tomato sauce, and sugar. And
Oh,
stick around for the rest of the ingredients.
wow. That is so cool. How
Yep.
long does it take you to make it?
Well,
You'll
we're in the
find
process of
out.
making it right now. This is my first time, so.
Cool.
All right. Thank you, Melissa. Okay, so
You're
I'm
welcome.
going to work the sauce into the meat here, and okay, so just making sure it's well combined, and okay, so just kind of turning it around and moving the meat around here, so making sure it all gets in there. And very good. Okay. Now we're going to add in the flour. So this calls for 6 tablespoons of flour. And let's see, now where's my double tablespoon thing when I want it? There it is. Okay, we're going to wash this out. And having a 2 tablespoon measure means that I can scoop out 3 measures worth of flour. And yeah, so for those of you that are tuning in late, this is the first time I've actually ever made this meatloaf recipe. So we're all going to find out together how it turns out. And okay, making sure this spoon is dry because it's about to go into the flour mixture and I don't want that to get wet. Okay, so now let's get down our flour and let's see here. There's our flour. And the good news is I got an extra bag in case I need it. Wasn't sure how much flour I have, but I think we'll have enough for this. Okay, first set of tablespoons is going in. And I'm just holding it over so I'm scooping it out of the container, holding it over the bowl, and just pouring it. And then our last one. And it's that simple. Okay. So that is our flour mixture. Okay, so I'm going to wash that off my hands. Are there any questions?
Oops. I lost my screen. Sorry about that. No, sir.
All
There
right.
was not. I double checked.
Very good. So let's see here. Now let's take a look at the rest of our ingredients here. And
Sorry, Herbie. You have a question in Clubhouse.
all right, who have we got in Clubhouse?
It's just me. I'm letting you know that everything is good now. We should not hear double in Clubhouse when
Yay!
people come up.
All right, guys. So it's now safe to talk in Clubhouse. 3/4 teaspoon salt. Okay. When salt is one of these things, you really want to be careful in how much you use because you don't want to overdo it, and you'll have too much. All right, where did my salt and pepper shakers go? What did Cindy do with my salt and pepper shakers? Because I know she did. Okay, there's... Well, like I've got vanilla. We could add that to the meatloaf. Okay.
Wow.
Just to see how it would taste. If anybody wants to try that, let me know. And, okay, there's one of them. So I think this is my salt shaker. I'm just going to pour in a little bit here. Okay, there's the salt. And there's my pepper. All right. And we'll just go ahead and add in a little bit of that. Again, have to be careful with how much we use. But there is that. Okay. So with that, a half teaspoon onion powder. And okay, so we need our onion powder. And I know I have some around here that is actually labeled. Of course, now that I want it, I'll never be able to find it, because that's how these things go here. Okay, so I think I left it out here. Okay, let's move that out the way. Nope, that's not onion powder. Really? That is not onion powder. Okay. Let's deal with the garlic powder first, since that is right here. I'm just going to put in a little bit. Oh, is this one empty? Let's see. Okay, I guess that garlic powder container is empty. All right. Okay, got garlic salt. Can use that as a substitute for garlic powder if needed, and just don't want to use as much of it because it is salt, not garlic, but then it doesn't call for much in either case. So and of course what's going to happen is right now I can't find my onion powder, so I will get some from the store for next time, just to find that I will find my onion powder, and that is always frustrating when that happens. Okay. Same with the garlic powder. Another one will turn up right when I order the first one. And if Chef Janine were here, she'd give me ideas on how to organize my spices, so that type of thing would never happen. But as far as I know, she is not here. So okay, well, it looks like we will not have much in the way of onion powder or garlic powder. Actually, I think this is my garlic powder. Let's see here. Just going to use the nose method, and that'll tell me for sure what we have. Except there's paper on here. Okay. Nope, that is not garlic powder. Okay. All right, so what I'm going to do then, at least for the garlic powder, is just use some, I'll just use a little bit of garlic salt instead, and we will call that good. I'm losing everything now, but or I could add in some cinnamon. Anybody want cinnamon in their meatloaf? I don't, but if you're into that type of thing, maybe you do. Okay, and that'll just give it a little bit of flavor with the garlic salt, and because that's what we want is. Okay. And that'll be that. So now I'm going to use my hands to work the mixture into the meat. And then we're going to put this into a loaf pan. So the trick is just to make sure everything is worked into the meat. We use our hands for this, so no spoons or anything like that. And unfortunately, that's one of the disadvantages of when you come back from a vacation. You think you have more stuff, then you find out you don't have it, and yeah. But that's unfortunately how these things go. So, let's see.
Ruby, let me know when you want hands.
will now take hands, yes.
All right, here's your fave, Abraham. You're
I
up.
was wondering where he'd gotten to.
Hey,
I was worried.
how much flour did you use?
6 tablespoons.
Okay, and you added all the spices to the flour, then mixed it up?
Yes.
I always wondered, isn't it better to put the spices and stuff into your wet mixture so that it, that's distributed more evenly? And then it sounds like you could have added maybe some chili flakes or something, cayenne or something uh, to it. Didn't spiciness to it.
Yep, we definitely could. I don't know if mixing the spices into the sauce mixture that might affect how the sauce itself turns out.
Mm,
Um, so that's the only thing I could think of with that. So it could affect the sauce mixture.
okay.
So it says to press into a loaf pan and then cover that with foil. So we're going to get out a loaf pan here, and I do actually have a loaf pan loafing around here somewhere. Ah, there's my loaf pan. It says a 9x5 loaf pan. I don't know if this one is a 9x5, and I think it is, but that's good enough for our purposes. So I'm going to basically just grab the mixture, put into the pan, and we're going to press it into the pan. So try to make it as flat as we possibly can. And then we're going to cover it with some foil and let her bake. All right. So I've got my foil out here, and it's in the container that has that sharp edge. So I'm just going to roll it out some to, I have it right next to the pan to where I can see it's covering the pan completely. I'm going to pull back on the sharp edge container so that way it covers it. And then we're going to now put it in the oven. We've got a lot of foil covering the sides here, but that's fine. Trying to get foil even is always a tricky thing for me. And, but we'll make this work. Okay, and now, hey Google, set timer for 30 minutes. Oh no, hey Google, cancel timer. Hey Google, set timer for, hey Google, set timer for 29 minutes. Hey Google, set timer for 30 minutes. Very good. Okay, it's set it for 13 minutes. Earlier, that would not be good. Okay. So, with that, now we're going to, let's see, first of all, if there's any questions.
Yes, there are. You have 2 hands up.
All right.
2 repeats. Shanty, you're up.
Just to double check, excuse me, the actual full recipe with all the steps, we can go in and get them from that link that you put in our cooks list.
Yes.
Oh, fantastic. And then another quickie.
And I'll publish the entire recipe to the cooks list as well.
Cool.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I saw the ingredients, but I didn't see the steps. So I guess you'll do that later. But another way the way I organize my seasonings and spices, of course, is if they're in a bottle, I can put those Braille stickers, or if you don't like Braille, you can get those talking stickers.
Yep.
And the seasoning packets, I do the same thing, only I have a bag for, like, if I have 4 taco seasonings, I put them in the bag where I'm labeling the bag. So I know, okay, this is how much taco stuff, this is how much meatloaf stuff, and vice, so on.
Very good. All right. So I'm now going to do some garlic mashed potatoes to go along with the meatloaf. But we do have another question first, so let's get to that.
Hey, Terry, you're up.
Okay. So Herbie, 2 questions. First of all, you didn't make it into, excuse me, the meat into a loaf. You just patted it all the way down so that it forms
Yes.
it in the pan. Okay. Well, I've never done that, so I'll have to try that. And then also, what about that 2 tablespoons of the sauce? Does that go on first or does that go on later?
So we're going to put that on later. So what we're going to do is
Okay.
after the meatloaf is done, we're going to slice it, put the remainder of the sauce on, and cook it for another 10 minutes.
Oh, okay. Sounds great. Thank you.
Yep. All right. So right now I'm just filling this pot up with water. Okay, do we have any other questions?
No, sir.
Nope. All right. So I'm excited to play with this pot and see how well it works. Unfortunately, it's a big pot, so it does take a while to fill, but that's okay. So mashed potatoes, there's several different ways to make them. We're going to do this a pretty easy way, actually, but it's pretty easy, pretty tasty. I've made these several times before on previous calls, so if you're a veteran, nothing new. But the refresher is always good too on how to do these. And we're going to make sure this pot has plenty of water in it, and because a lot of it's going to boil away with the potatoes, but that's fine. And okay, so now that that's done, we're going to set this on the stove, and then we're going to get out. Well, first of all, this burner got uneven. Okay, that's always fun. Let's move that
All right,
out.
Mr. Allen, it is 10 of top of the hour.
All right, so for those of you listening on ACB Media, this is where we say goodbye. But if you want to listen to the remainder of the call, you are more than welcome to come on Zoom or Clubhouse, and I'll be more than happy to. You're more than welcome to hang out with us there. But media, we gotta go. Now, coming up later today, there are some exciting things happening on Media 5. Essential Oils with Haley at 11, followed by Unmute Presents at noon Eastern, then Unmute Presents at 1 Eastern, and then Games to Play with Lady A at 2 Eastern. So you can find those all on Media 5. And meantime, on the Zoom side of things, we've got other things happening, plenty of other calls happening, including Braille Room. We got Ace, the morning coffee clutch. Tyann
Crochet.
will crochet. Yep, I was gonna say I'm sure we have some kind of crafting call happening today. And I think we got 1 or 2 new calls too, so happening later today. So definitely, and if you've not done so, make sure you send an email to community@acb.org where you can ask them to be added to the community list and get the list of calls that are happening. It is a real human at the other end, so just include your name, your email address, telephone number, credit card number, and wait a minute, we don't do telephone number and credit card number. Sorry, I was trying to see if I could, get ACB more money here. And I don't profit, I promise. But we all profit in that the community runs when they actually do get to donations, but you can probably still donate on the thing, I would imagine. Cindy, you were one of the facilitators. Do you remember the URL?
Yes, you
People-
can.
Yes, you can.
Janelle
Okay.
raised her hand. So she
Yeah, sorry, I meant to unmute, but yes, it is. It will be up till at least January 15th.
So where do they go to donate?
It is tinyurl.com/communityathon2023.
All right. So there,
There is no longer a phone number to call, so you have to go to the website. Well, you could call the Minneapolis office if you needed
All
to
right.
call.
All right. So there you go, guys. That's how you can donate, and we'd love to have you donate or just listen to the community. But very good. We should probably make sure that the facilitators in general keep giving out that information. So, guys that are running calls today, make sure you memorize that information and keep giving it out till the 15th, because that is crucial. So tinyurl.com/communityathon2023. That is up through the 15th. And but in the meantime, and also when you write to community@acb.org to ask to join the community list, you can also ask to join the cooks list. And they will add you to the ACB cooks list. And also, one of the things you can also subscribe to is my YouTube channel where calls are uploaded. I also include in that, and I do include this in the cooks list emails as well, is the link to my Dropbox folder, which contains most of the recipes that I have done. So a lot of interesting archives for you to look at, whether you just want to hear the show, whether you want to learn how to cook something. I don't have everything uploaded to YouTube, but I have enough calls on there that really cover a wide range of things that we have done over the last couple of years. So like my previous meatloaf is on there. I will get this meatloaf one on there as well. We also have had, we've got several breakfast calls, meal calls, baking, cooking. I need to get some of our other calls too that don't deal directly with cooking uploaded on there too, like Schwann's, now known as Yella, not Old Yella, just Yella. But yeah, so quite a bit of stuff, and of course you can also find things on the podcast feed as well. So make sure you look into that for more cooking call things. This call has been going since May of 2021. So we're not the longest call happening on ACB. No, that's always going to belong to like the social calls and whatnot. But this call's definitely been going strong, and we've only missed a handful of calls. Now there used to be only 2 calls per month, so that did help. But in fact, there's only twice I can think of now where I have 3 times where I've actually canceled calls for that week. So it's pretty good. All right, do we have any questions? I'm right now just slicing the potatoes into little chunks, nothing too precise because they're all going to boil. So I'm just kind of slicing them into quarter-sized chunks and placing them in the pot. And then we're going to get the water going and add in the garlic. Really what I like to do, and this really helps if I thought about it, is let the potatoes soak in the water for a while before I get to boiling them. And then things really turn out good, but that's okay.
You have no hands, but I'm sure somebody will raise their hand since I said there's no hands.
Well, I have 2 hands right here, but okay.
Well, yeah, well.
Oh, you mean raise hands.
Got one. Yes, got one. Petra, go ahead.
Kirby, do you think there's any difference between boiling the potatoes or steaming them?
As far as I know, they're both the same thing, but I think steam just lets out water, so you want to boil them.
Okay. I've always steamed them, but it would be easier to boil them than to steam them.
Yeah.
So just wondered if that made any difference, really.
If anybody else has any thoughts on that, by all means weigh in, but as far as I know, I think you would want to boil them. and that would be the most effective thing for your potatoes. All right. Anybody else?
No,
Nope.
sir.
I have a
not yet.
question.
You have a
Yes, Mike.
question? All right.
Do you peel them or do you leave the peel on?
Excellent question. I do not peel them. I do not. I refuse to peel them. The skin is where the nutrients are. So it's just pure carbohydrates, which B, the skin tastes good. C, it's a lot of extra work anyway. But nope, I definitely leave the peel on my potatoes, whether I mash them, even with French fries, I leave the peel on for them too. So, if you eat potatoes at my house, you're getting the peel. And if that's not appealing,
Yeah.
then go somewhere else.
All right, and I'm stopping the stream.
All right.
Okay, and Shanty has her hand up.
All right.
Now, does the texture change with the peel? Because I know you've tasted them
Yes.
without peel.
Yes, they do change. To me, if you're gonna do them without peel, you may as well just buy the frozen ones from the store and do like the flakes and all that. But they taste like I don't know. But the texture does change with or without the peel. I think. They become a little. I think the peel helps keeps them a little bit more moist. Honestly, and
And you don't get stringy pieces or, you
No.
know, interesting.
because it's
Which
all
now, are
spoiled.
you using gold potatoes and red potatoes or
Right
the
now, I'm
russet?
using like russet potatoes, but I've used red
Interesting.
potatoes, and
Uh-huh.
no, they don't turn out stringy or anything like that.
Interesting.
Because it all mashes them together. So, yeah, give it a try.
And the way I do my potatoes, I don't know if it's steaming or what, but I don't like milk. So if you're a person that doesn't like milk, you don't want the instant potatoes because they put milk in them. And
Right.
I use just enough water at the bottom of the pan so that the steam rises, and I cover the pan. And it takes them a little longer to cook, but they come out very tender. And there's no water left to drain out. And then I just add butter. And they're
Okay, that's an
diluted.
interesting thing to try. I usually, like in my case, I boil them so there's water at the top of the pan that the potatoes are floating in. It'll all boil, and then I may have to add some water. I will have to drain it out at the end, which is why I'm excited to try my new pot. So I added in some garlic, by the way, guys. Walmart has the Spice World peeled garlic. I've also seen this at Amazon. It makes life a whole lot easier. It's garlic in a bag, and it doesn't like minced garlic tastes funny to me. I don't like it texturally or taste wise. But peeled garlic works really well, so I just put that in a bunch of those into the pot. It'll all boil together. The potatoes will absorb a lot of the garlic. So, if I had garlic powder, I might add some of that in too. And I just use butter with mine too. We don't use milk in ours, but we'll add that at the very end. Now that's an interesting question though. Like since you steam your potatoes with I mean, I think the skin would still be fine, but that's an interesting. So yeah, steamed versus boiled potatoes. That is a definitely interesting methodology that'll have to be explored more, and for sure. All right. So I've now set. So one of the tricks that, by the way, people have benefited from learning is that you don't need to put the potatoes in boiling water. You can put them in cold water first and then get your pot boiling, and that is a lot safer. That is what I did. And you just need to. Of course, it's going to take a little bit longer, maybe because you're needing the water to boil. But I think you'll find it's a lot safer doing it that way. All right, who is next?
You do not have, and somebody will, invariably, not have any hand up yet.
All right.
Come on, people.
So next week we're going to go into the tasty realm of things and actually do baking. And this recipe just sounded too good to miss up. It's going to be a chocolate fudge cake. So that's it's a recipe that somebody posted to Facebook the other day. I saw it and was like, "Ooh, this will be easy enough to make." So that is what is on board for next week. And then Heidi is waiting on Bob to come back. And when Bob comes back, then we'll have zucchini bread. So if you've got anything you'd like to contribute to the cooking call, maybe you've got a recipe, maybe you'd actually like to cook and demonstrate something, or there's something else you'd like to talk about, I'd love to hear from you. You can send the emails to community@acb.org, or if you have my contact info, you can just reach out to me directly, of course. And I'd love to hear from you, and we can get you set up. I'm going to try to at least arrange one person to come on here in the next month or so. So definitely going to look into that. And so that'll be pretty good. And yeah, so right now just waiting on everything to boil. So when the meatloaf is done, like I said, we're going to actually slice it in the pan and then put the remainder of the sauce on it. This is going to help the center of the loaf cook more. And but then I'll really be interested to try this out. I'm going to see if I can find some ground sirloin from another store this week and try it out that way next time, just to see if it turns out any differently or not. So, and it actually does say to drain the meatloaf as well. So that we'll use a sieve for. So let's talk about my pot that I got. Actually, that's supposed to be a drainer pot. So this one has it where you can lock the lid in place and then pour it over the sink. It has like a spout on either end. I don't know if the lid itself has holes in it. I certainly can't feel any, but that doesn't mean it doesn't. And so I should be able to pour it over the sink. Nothing will spill out of the pot other than the water. And then it'll be good to go. So really interested to give that a try. And that'll create less dishes too, because I won't need a sieve for that type of thing. So gonna try that with potatoes today, and then I'm gonna make a stroganoff later this week. That beef stroganoff that I've made before on the call. And I'm really glad that Cindy does not know where I live, because I have a feeling that I might get invaded. Just one
I
day.
can find anybody.
I'll be
oh
right
boy.
there with you.
Oh boy. Okay. All right. Well, I guess I'll be making dinner for 4. So that's gonna get interesting. Though, Tyann, you're gonna have to explain to your family why you're not cooking for them, and instead you've gone to somebody else's house.
Noelle likes meatloaf.
Oh boy. Okay. Wait a minute. So 4 people and a bird. Okay. This is gonna get interesting.
My dog likes meatloaf.
6
As
people.
do my
Elizabeth.
2 cats.
Oh wait. Okay. Now we're up to 8. Oh boy. This is suddenly getting interesting. 4 people and their pets. The one pet will have to at least cross border patrol, and there could be a language barrier with that one. So I might be safe from Noelle at least. But
Noelle will just sit here and have a bird's eye view.
okay.
Yeah.
Deborah is unmuted, but she doesn't have her hand up, so I don't know if she has a question or not. Sometimes
Probably.
people have trouble with their hand.
Yep. Well, she was telling us about Noelle.
I was just being silly. I'm going to mute again.
Well, I know a couple of people have had hand up and down issues.
Yep.
I'm all
be
alone
sure.
over here.
Oh, Tyann's all alone. No wonder she wants to come over here. Okay. Poor Poor Tyann.
Hmm.
All right. Well, yeah. Poor Tyann. So,
You still have plenty of time.
all right. So, also be sure to join me next week for the Accessible Online Games call. And I actually don't know what we're doing on that yet. We're either doing Night Manager, or we're doing Scrabble, or we're doing um something else. I forget which now, but
Word voyance,
Word
maybe.
Voice. Yes. Word Voice, that's right. So it'll be one of those three things. We'll know I'll know tomorrow. And so looking forward to that as we continue to explore different avenues on the multi-level games and what we can do with them. So, Word Voice was one that we were going to be tackling last year, and then my people that I had lined up for that backed out at the last minute, so that is how that worked out. And let's see. So, I've got that on that tap. And, hey Google, how much time is left? Okay, 7 minutes until the meatloaf is done. So, good time to go at least check on our potatoes in the meantime. Whoa. This headphone setup is not the greatest, but it'll do.
I'll smell it.
Yep.
Sniffing for it, Herbie.
You're sniffing for it? All right.
Mm-hmm. Fine.
Okay, so we do have boiling water, is just checking. Okay, so I'm not used to how this particular pot works. Some start steaming right away, and some like okay, but we're doing good. We got plenty of hot water. I'm gonna go ahead and turn on the fan, so that hopefully we don't have to deal with any smoke alarm today. All right. Do we have any other questions about cooking or like what we've done so far? Any cooking questions in general? Now is a really good time for those.
Hmm. No.
No? No.
But
All
I
right.
kind of have a question. And
Yep.
oh, you got a question. And then I can ask you. Okay, William, you're up.
Welcome, William.
Good morning, Herbie. Good morning, everyone. So my question is, what size meatloaf do you get from the store if you were cooking for maybe 2 or 3 people, for example?
So this is just a 2 pound meatloaf. For 2 people, that's usually good enough. But if you're cooking for more, then you might want to increase the poundage a little bit. Of course, depends on how much meatloaf people want and that type of thing.
Sure.
So for 2 people, usually 2 pounds is good enough. But you can, but of course, it also depends on factors too, like are you wanting leftovers, things like that.
Okay. Well, thank you very
But
much.
just remember, the more pounds you get, the more you're going to need to increase the other ingredients,
Right, right.
and the bigger the pan too.
Thank you very much, Herbie.
You're welcome. All right, who is next? Oh, you, Cindy. That's right.
What? Okay, and people might think this is stupid because I know we have people on your call, like other cooking calls from other areas of the planet. I take it since we only do spoon, teaspoon, tablespoon, etc., not the metrics. Abraham, I take it you convert everything over, correct? Or are you familiar with ours? I mean, all I know is
The
5K, 10K, and
tablespoons and teaspoons tend
26K.
to be the same. It's the cups that are different.
That's the cups. Okay, so you know, like I said, I know 10K, 5K, and 26K. That's my
So
metric training.
this is why one of the reasons why they invented Alexas is so that way you can just ask her to convert the things for you.
That's what I figured he probably does.
I've had to do that with recipes. Like Tori's given me recipes and stuff too that
Hmm.
I've had to convert. So yep.
Okay, cool.
Very good. Okay, and see, there's no such thing as a stupid question because your
Okay,
question could be
Shanty.
somebody else's. Shanty.
For those of you who want a conversion chart, I found several books on Bard. Some are in Braille, some are audio, and they'll give you the chart so you can save it for yourself and you'll always have it there.
Excellent.
Use Alexa. She's fast.
Yep.
I have 4 of them, so.
I agree.
Yep. And if you want to learn more about things to do with your Alexa, make sure you tune in tomorrow to talk to Tyann about Alexa, or whatever the call is called. Or talk to Alexa with Tyann. I think that's the name of the call.
No, it's Alexa Talks with Tyann.
Alexa talks with Tyann. Okay. So Alexa talks with Tyann. So I guess Alexa will be talking with Tyann and probably exploring her feelings about what it's like to be a servant to a million people and all that type of thing. But along the way, Tyann will have some useful tips on things you can do with your Alexa. So that is tomorrow at what? 3 Eastern?
4 Eastern.
4 Eastern. Yep. Okay. So make sure you tune in to that. And I think, is that one being streamed?
It is not being streamed, but it is being broadcast to Clubhouse.
All right. So there you go. So that is what we got on tap for you for that tomorrow. And so hope you will tune in to that. And just waiting for our meatloaf here to be done. So I'm going to double check. Now's a good time while I'm not doing anything to check the recipe. And I see we've got about 15 minutes left of the call, so. Okay, so I guess we actually have to bake this for another 25 to 30 minutes after we're done. So, and it says to just pour the sauce on, don't spread it, so.
Hey, Petra, you're up. Uh-oh.
Perfect for not feeling well. You're doing a really good job. And now I'm confused because I thought you said that you cooked the meatloaf for 20 minutes, then you sliced it, added the sauce, and then put it back in for 10 more. And now you're saying 25 more?
Well, this is why I double check my recipe. So yes, 25 to 30 minutes more, so.
Okay, so total it cooks about an hour.
Yes, hey Google, stop. Unfortunately,
Okay.
it does. Okay, so we're going to. Okay, as my potatoes start to steam. All right, so we're going to take this out the oven. And it says to remove the foil, so we're going to do that using an oven glove because the foil is going to be hot. So it says to drain the meatloaf. I think I'm going to hold off on that because it's really. I mean, I could try that to drain it and then put it back in the pan. Let's see. We will actually improvise here. That's what another good use for air fryer baskets. They can also make good drainers. So, going to pour this into the basket if I can. You know what? I think I'm actually going to just go ahead and do the slicing, and because that'll actually work a little bit better than trying to drain it and all that, and I don't know if it needs much of that anyway. And it just adds a little bit more sauce, so which gives it more flavor. So I'm going to get out a good sharp knife, and it says to cut into 8 different slices, so let's see. Slice 1, slice 2. So I'm just kind of randomly slicing here. This looks good, I'll tell you that much. So the slicing part in the pan, of course, as you would imagine, it's a little bit interesting. Okay. So now we're going to, I've done my best to slice it so that there's holes in the center. The idea is so that way, it is going to cook. Now we're going to pour the sauce on it. Okay. So. So this looks like it's going to turn out pretty good. So unfortunately, we will not be able to try it on the call, but the YouTube version will include my final report on this. Okay. Hey Google, set timer for 25 minutes. All right, let's see. We're going to test these potatoes with a fork, see how soft they are. They need some more time. Okay.
All right, Mr. Allen, it is 20 after the hour, and you have a hand up if you want.
I have a hand up? All right, let's get to it.
Okay, Terry, you're up.
Okay, Herbie, did you put foil back? Did it say to put foil back on it after you?
No.
Oh, okay, good. Because it'll
question,
brown it then, right?
Yep. Good.
Okay.
Good thing you asked me that. Nope, we do not put the foil back on.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
I think I'm going to make this today.
All right. Well, I'll be curious to see how it turns out for you, so make sure you let me know.
I will. Thanks.
And, I should have thought about this. I should have done something from Meatloaf for karaoke this Saturday, but that's okay. But there you go. So, all right.
Clubhouse has a question, I believe. Marianne has her hand up.
Me.
Yes.
So the original recipe calls for 1.5 pounds. So
Yes.
if you were to do 3 pounds, would you just double everything else?
I would.
Okay.
At least double, or at least add an extra half. So let's see. You could. I would definitely use more sauce. Yeah, I would double everything.
Okay, because I have a 3-pound log and I'm like, oh, what do I do? Oh, maybe, but I don't have barbecue sauce.
You don't have barbecue sauce? Wow. And that's what you've got a husband for. He can go out and get you some. Or Walmart delivery, or grocery delivery, Instacart.
Grocery delivery. Yeah, but then I need to find $35. of groceries.
Well, you can you can always make stroganoff. Instead of trying to invade my house, it might be cheaper to get the things to make your own stroganoff than the flying to me.
Well, yeah, but it wouldn't be as fun.
No, 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 it wouldn't. All right, so I guess now if you want to know where I live, ask Cindy, as she can find anybody. That's a little bit interesting, because didn't you once work for the IRS?
No, Social Security.
Social Security.
I am contracted to Social Security.
Okay, so you're the
All
one that
right.
gives me my money. All right.
No, I don't. I try to make you get out there and get a job. That's my job.
Okay.
Or if you're in school, see if you can get a reduction in your student loan. All right. Deborah has her hand up.
All right, Deborah.
Hey, Herbie. Yeah, I wrote to acbcommunity.org and I asked to be put on the cooking list because right now what's happening is when I click on any of the links, when I went to email, I think there's a link there that we can email you to get on the cooking list. For some reason or other, it goes into my drafts folder, and when I click on links, it doesn't go anywhere. But I did quite some time ago write to acb.org and ask them to put me on the cooking list, and I haven't heard from anybody. So I'm not so sure. And I was hoping to get some of your recipes from your Dropbox folder if possible.
All right, so two things I'll have you do. One, reach out again to community@acb.org.
Yep.
And also ask if them to put you in contact with me, and I can at least get you the link to the Dropbox.
Okay.
And I'll be more than happy to do that. And then I would email acbcooks@gmail.com because Courtney's the one who technically runs the list.
Okay.
And see if she can do anything to help out with that. But and you could also ask them about that when you do email community@acb.org. You could also ask them as well. Again.
So maybe what I'll do is I'll email ACB Cooks. Is it .org?
Gmail.com.
Gmail. Oh, ACB
Cooks at gmail.com.
gmail.com. Oh, okay. Sure. Yep. Okay. Thanks.
All right.
Okay, Herbie, you have one more hand. And just to let you know, I cannot get your address in any way, sense, or form. But I have a guide dog that can sniff out anybody. So if I want to find you, I'll find you. But I'm not coming to Houston anytime soon. Anyway, Miss Petra, you're up.
One last question. With your mashed potatoes, Herbie, did you put the peeled garlic in the water with the potatoes?
Yes.
Perfect.
All right.
Sounds delicious. I'm going to do your recipe really soon, too.
All right.
You have 5 minutes, Mr. Allen.
All right. Well, I want to thank everybody for coming today, and hope you were all able to get something out of this call. Sounds like quite a few of you did. And next week, we're going to make a chocolate fudge cake, and we're going to go from there. So that's what I've got on tap for you all for next time. I want to thank Cindy and Tyann for helping out today. I want to thank every one of you all for coming. Terry, glad you were able to join me on the Zoom side today. But glad everybody can listen in no matter what method they are using. But it seems like right now nobody's on the Clubhouse side. So with that, Cindy and Tyann, you may end the respective rooms, and I will see you all next week.
I will take us out, and I sent you 2 emails, by the way.
All right, I will take a look.
All right, I'll see you. Bye.
Yep.
Bye.
Take us out. Bye, guys.